Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I think that XRP at today's price is undervalued. There's a lot of data indicating exactly what's happening, a lot of which I will be sharing with you in this video. But it simply looks to me that a crypto market's looking a bit oversold, and so I suspect that by the time this market cycle is all over, we've had our greatest XRP price height. I would suspect a new all-time high entering, a new realm of price discovery. This would be my suspicion as far as what would occur. Once that's all said and done, I think we'll look back and people will say, damn, XRP getting into the 50-something cent range is looking pretty good right about now. But all these people that have decided to sell their XRP, hey, you did what's right for you. That's perfectly fine. But I do suspect a lot of those people are going to end up feeling tremendous regret as a result. Because the new participants in this market act notably different than the people that have been around for a little while. Truer things have never been spoken. So, look, I want to be clear at the outset. I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I just think it's fun to talk about these topics, just from my everyday Joe Schmo opinion here. Talking about Ripple and XRP and crypto in general. It's a good time here every day. But just wait, because look, now here's another thing I keep seeing too. And I'm seeing this in my comments section. I'm seeing it on Twitter. There are people saying me, and they're not only saying it to me, but they're like, Moon Lambo, when are you going to admit we're in a bear market? When I'm convinced that there's sufficient data to indicate that we're there, and that doesn't exist right now. Not for me. I'm just looking at actual data. I'm looking at historically how humans have behaved, chart structures, and I'm looking at the same data that you can look at if you choose to, and I just don't find it particularly compelling. I really don't. I expect huge pullbacks like we've just seen. It would be weird if they didn't happen. And every time they happen, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. It must be another bear market. Blah, 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 blah. Except for only one time out of each market cycle is that true, that it actually is a bear market. And these cycles typically go 4 years, so all the other ones in between, you hear the same crap every damn time. This is no different. It's just a bigger one in terms of percentage loss, and so people get even squealier about it, a little noisier about it, but it's no different functionally other than that, so I just don't care. And so as I record this, XRP's hovering right around 65 cents, Bitcoin's at $34,192, market cap at $1.37 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance climbing. It's up to 46.59%. Not terribly surprising. It looks to me like people are panicking that they're holding altcoin positions even more than people that are holding Bitcoin just in general. And XRP, by the way, in case you missed it, XRP within the last 24 hours did get down to 52 cents. 52 cents. And so we're seeing a lot of green in the market at the time I'm recording this, which is going to be a weird time for a lot of people. What time is it? It's 3:22 a.m. on Wednesday, June 23rd. Yes, in the a.m., because why the hell not? I tell you what, I'm not married and I don't have any children that I'm aware of anyway, so I do what I want, damn it, and this is when I want to record a video, so here we are. But Bitcoin also got down to $28,981. Oh my god, that's I can't handle these markets. All right, mouth breathers, like simmer down a little bit. We're going to talk about this because here's a picture of you. If you want to look on your screen, sorry, this is funny though. I encourage you. I'll try and describe this, but you should look on your screen right now. This is a tweet from chart analyst Mursky, and he wrote, "New traders coming into the market now." And there's a picture of one of those little brainlet creatures, and it's got it's holding a like what looks to be like something like a star figure. And it's trying to figure out what empty slot to put it in, and there's this thing with slots in it attached to its head. There's a triangle and a circle and a square, and this thing's drooling, holding a star, trying to figure out where to put it. There you go. This is a picture of new traders entering the market now. I saw that, and I'm sorry, that's funny. That made me laugh. I was like, yeah, that's about right. And you can tell that thing on your screen right there is also a mouth breather. Oh my god, the market. That's exactly what's going on there. And so here's a tweet from Credible Crypto. I got a few, actually. The first one's from June 21st, actually. Because let's talk about like what would it take to actually be in a bear market. I want to talk about that a little bit too, and then I'm going to show you some data that to me is just nothing but bullish. Really, it's just strong indications that we're not in a bear market. This is just another one of the bazillion pullbacks that are of substantial note that have occurred over the last 12 years. This is just the most recent one. It's not going to stop though, not anytime soon. And so Credible Crypto wrote, so technically, we would need to hit, and he's talking about Bitcoin here, we need to hit $10,000 to invalidate the current impulse to the upside. But even hitting $14,000 would be a pretty bad sign. Realistically, I don't even want to see $20,000 met. Anything above that is fine. So consider this. Last market cycle, Bitcoin's high was close to $20,000, and its low was somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,200. So from that high to the low, Bitcoin price dropped about 84%. 84%. And then we had downward and sideways price action for a number of years, right? Along the way. And so, if you're talking about like what would it take to have the same percentage drop? Well, if we're really in a bear market, you tell me if you really believe this, because I sure as hell don't. Bitcoin's high, about, let's just use round numbers, $65,000. That's about right. That means that Bitcoin would need to drop down to about $10,000 to have the same percentage drop, 84%. So if we start to see that type of drop, I'm willing to have more serious conversations about this. But even then, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're absolutely in a bear market. Because what if we bounce off that and head out to the sky right away? And look, I don't think any of these things are likely at all. By the way, I'm just to be super duper clear, I'm just talking here now. But part of it is the function of like how long are we going to be trading down and sideways? If you're talking about this being like the shortest bull cycle in history, and then we're just going to trade sideways for a number of years, and we've dropped about 84% with Bitcoin, something like that, then I'd start to be like, yeah, it looks like that actually was a bear market. I guess what I suspected was the case was wrong, and that would be fine. Because look, I never know for sure. All I can do is look at data that's in front of me just like you, and then it's going to strike me a certain way, and I don't control how it strikes me. It's just data hits me, and I interpret it the way I interpret it. And whatever the most compelling case is to me, that's just how it strikes me. And if history ends up unfolding the way that I suspect based on that data, great. But there's no guarantee just because I think something's probable that it will happen like that. But I do feel at this point in time pretty damn strongly that we are not in a bear market. This is just a substantial pullback here. So then Credible Crypto retweeted that what I just read to you, his own tweet, and then he wrote the following. People getting upset that I refuse to say this is a bear market, LOL. I don't know what to say. Criteria hasn't been met. Just like how during the March C19 crash, I said as long as we don't go below $3,000 lows, we are fine. We hit $3,900. Bullish count held, and we were fine. And so there you go. But there were people that thought that Bitcoin was going to crash even lower than that. There were people saying Bitcoin was going to go to $2,000 or $1,000. It never happened. The sky is falling, people. They're here. Every time there's a massive pullback, they're going to be here. And if you don't agree with them, even though they don't have opinions that are based off of data typically, if you don't agree with them, they're like, oh my gosh, I just can't believe it. I just don't believe it. We're going down so much. I'm like, close your mouth, breathe through your nose a little bit. Like, come on. But this is what we encounter here. So Credible Crypto, he talks about on his profile here a lot that we're basically progressing through a 5-wave structure, and he ultimately goes on to tweet. I'm not going to read all; it's on your screen right here. But he does believe that we're in wave 4 right now, and wave 5 is going to bring Bitcoin to over $100,000. We're just not there yet. And he's right. Way more than what he suspects will be the case ends up not being the case. And no analyst will be correct 100% of the time because we are just talking about probability of outcomes. And so even if something's highly probable, the small amount of probability that says no, it won't happen, sometimes will occur. So there's no one has a perfect track record on this, but there's a reason he's got the following he does have with 219,000 followers. And so then there was this chart analyst Love Crypto talking about XRP. A few days ago, June 19th, and this was back when XRP, I think it was probably 80 to 90 cents, I'm guessing. I'm pulling from memory, could be a little off, whatever. Much higher than it is now. He was saying, hey, just a warning, XRP might go down 54 to 60 cents roughly. And so ultimately what happened, you can see we did get as low, well, I already shared that with you, down to 52 cents. That ultimately what happened. And he's noting here, this is the most recent tweet from, a little less than 2 hours ago, it looks like. He tweeted, he's talking about XRP here, fantastic bounce so far off the weekly support, eyeing a lower high formation around 75 cents. So good to see it higher, but still, if it's a lower high previous to the last portion of the cycle when it was more like, 70, what did it wick up to here? Closer to 80 cents anyway. Still, so, but this is the weekly support level, so just even seeing it hold there, even if it's a lower high, that's still positive. It doesn't mean that we're gonna just endlessly keep on crashing down. That's not what is necessarily indicated here. Here's a tweet from Anthony Pompliano. Probably about one of the most famous Bitcoin maximalists in all of crypto at this point, I think it's safe to say. But here's what he wrote. The on-chain data is overwhelming. The new weak-handed investors are selling to the experienced, strong-handed investors. People who have been around for a while love cheap Bitcoin. That is factually correct. And here's chart analyst Michael Vanderpop, who shared the following with his 345,000 followers. Long-term holders of Bitcoin are accumulating again, heavily. Short-term holders of Bitcoin are selling again, heavily. It always goes like that. And I'll briefly bring up full screen the two charts that he has. So if you want to pause and take a look at them, just giving you the opportunity to do so. So that's one. And here's the second one. And he's absolutely correct. Like, this is verifiably true data. And so I'm seeing all of this. I've known this for days. I've been reporting it on this channel for days. While the people that don't seem to care about data and they're just emotionally driven say, oh my God, that moon downbow. Bear market. No. Mr. Mouth Breather, please. Please just interpret some of the data, try and reduce the emotion, all right? I promise you, it's going to be okay here. And then here is Santiment. Now, Santiment, I'm actually a fan of these guys here. You can see their Twitter profile. They describe themselves as on-chain, social, and curated information on 1,500 plus cryptocurrencies. And I've heard them talk. In fact, I believe I heard them interviewed, I think it was on Crypto Eddie's channel, if I'm not mistaken. And they seem like sharp individuals. They're just very data-driven. And so they put up the following tweet. Bitcoin was temporarily below half of its all-time high value that was reached just 2 months ago after it dropped below $30,000 today. However, there are signs of a potential turnaround. And then they also go on to cite data indicating that the people are accumulating here. And this is always how it's been. Like when I showed this chart and I didn't describe it here, I'll pull it back up just for a second. I mean, like the chart that's on your screen now that was shared by Michael Vanderpop, this shows that when you have ridiculously high run-ups in terms of price, the long-term holders, that's when they reduce their holdings. And then as the price crashes, they increase their holdings again and again and again. Endlessly for year after year after year. And that is happening right now. But still people insist, oh no, it is a bear market. There are other things to look at too, though. Like take a look at this. This is from Lark Davis, who runs one of the largest cryptocurrency YouTube channels on the entire planet. He's got a lot of followers on Twitter too, 395,000 followers on Twitter here. And he shared a chart. I'll pull this up full screen too in just a moment, but he pretty well says what it is in the tweet. But check this out. This is a 200-week moving average heat map. We have never had a bull market top without red dots. And this current run hasn't even seen us put in an orange dot, Bitcoin. And so here it is full screen. Take a look at it. This is just data, folks. So is this going to be the first time in the history of the crypto asset class where we don't see those levels that we saw in the previously? I don't believe that to be likely. Nothing's impossible. I get it. It's crypto, and crypto's crazy, but I just don't buy it. I don't think it's probable. I'm not a prophet. I can be wrong about what I suspect will be right, but what's more compelling to you? Seriously, emotions dictating that we must be going down for, because this is what I see from humans. Whatever the direction the market's going, people just think it's going to do that forever. So when everything was euphoric and happy and Bitcoin was $65,000, oh my God, that's going to keep going. I'm so happy I own my Bitcoin. I just bought a little scrap of Bitcoin at $65,000. And so like they just, oh my God, they're so euphoric, couldn't be happier to be in the market. And then it crashes now. And what happens? What happens when it crashes? Because they thought it was going to go up forever. I said it wasn't. I said there was at some point going to be a massive correction, and we're living through it right now. So what happens now? Now we're at the flip side of it. Oh my gosh, it's scary, and the prices are lower. And what do the people that don't know what the hell they're talking about say? Say, oh my god, price going down. So I just, it's never gonna stop going down. I better sell my Bitcoiners. That's what they say, and it's never going to stop. It's going to crash down to zero, and that's just what it feels like. It's just going to do that forever. But they're wrong in both cases. Wrong in both cases. Let time pass, and we'll be talking about this within the next few months. I don't know how long it's going to take for sure for things to get going back up, but eventually the sentiment, which is fear right now, extreme fear, in fact, it's going to flip to greed again at some point. I don't know when, but I feel it's very close to a 100% certainty that at some unknown time in the future, I'm not even going to claim to know the time, there will be extreme greed in this market again. And I think that all the people that are selling down here, once they see what happens as time unfolds, they will regret it. That is my suspicion. Here's another tweet from Murphy, chart analyst, who wrote, if this was the shortest bull market we've ever had, then it makes sense that the bear market will be the same. Right, guys? Exactly. See, but if you're just talking about a pullback, is that really a bear market? You see, that's kind of the point he's making here. Like, are we really actually in a bear market right now? The analysts that I have decided prior to all this price action that I trust, and I think they do a good analysis. I think they're level-headed and they're respected in general. Like the ones that I choose to follow, it happens to be the case that none of them think we're in a bear market right now. And so I'm not highlighting them because they believe that. I'm telling you, these are the ones I followed. They all happen to agree. I just think they're level-headed people that look at data, and they're never going to ever perfectly agree with one another. But my gosh, on something like this, it seems pretty damn obvious what's going on here. I think anyway. And then there was this, and this is funny to me because there's an article written about this. Actually, I'm not going to read the article, but here's the headline from You Today. Bitcoin supporters capitulating. Is stock-to-flow model finally broken? And the stock-to-flow model, that was created by chart analyst Plan B, one of the most popular analysts on the entire planet, in the world of crypto at least. And it's a model that projects the price action of Bitcoin over a prolonged period of time based on the supply distribution, so Bitcoin entering the wild thanks to miners and how there's a supply reduction. And so that's what it takes. And it's fascinating. I will give credit for this to this point. It's been pretty well spot on to this moment in time. I'm not necessarily convinced it always will be, though, because it doesn't really so much take into account demand. It's more of a supply thing. And demand's an important variable. So to have a model that really is skewed in one direction over the other, I'm skeptical of any model that would do that. But I acknowledge to this point it's been perfectly accurate here. Either way, though, this is Plan B here, and he shared the following with his 588,000 followers. What a difference 3 months make. And so he put out a poll. It was the same poll, but at two different points in time. The first one was March 24th, and then on June 21st, just the other day, he put out the same poll, and you can see the difference in results here. And here's what he wrote. 41% now thinks Bitcoin will stay below $100,000 in 2021, which would invalidate the stock-to-flow model that he's famous for, versus only 16% thinking that Bitcoin would stay below $100,000 in March, which is back when Bitcoin was at $55,000. So isn't it funny? What am I telling you about human psychology? Whatever's happening in the moment, oh my God, it's going to be that forever. This is an indication of how it's going to go, except for it never is. Let a sufficient amount of time pass, and if you're in extreme greed, it's going to flip to extreme fear. If you're in extreme fear, give enough time, it'll flip to extreme greed. For as long as the markets are going to exist, that's always going to happen. Period. The same is true in the stock market. And so there you go, humans being humans. Like, do you need more evidence? I mean, I could go on longer. This is all I prepared for this video, but there's no shortage of evidence that this is humans being humans. The market's oversold. The people that have been here for a long time that know what the hell they're doing, they're accumulating. You know, we haven't seen every single altcoin in the market pop off, which is what we saw last market cycle. And given that the market moves in tandem, why the hell haven't we seen that if we're in a bear market? None of this makes sense. And so back to what I said at the beginning of the video, XRP, I bet people are going to look back at this and wish that they had bought a whole lot more. If they're here right now, I bet the people that are selling that are going to wish that instead of panic selling, I bet they're going to wish that they just bought a whole bunch more by the time this market cycle is finished. Because I personally believe, and I could be wrong and I'm not offering financial advice here, but I do believe that XRP will be worth substantially more at some point in the future. I do believe that it will hit a new all-time high. I do believe it will enter a new realm of price discovery. Why would this actually not happen? Don't make no damn sense to Moon Lambo. So you guys can get back to telling me that I'm wrong. Tell me how we're in a bear market. Just drop all that crap in the comment section below. I still love you. I do. Platonically, I love you. All right. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.